For the last couple of decades, researchers around the world have been gaining more and more knowledge on the benefits of healthy lifestyle choices on preventing, managing, and reversing many of the chronic diseases of our modern age. Now, this is a very exciting development in medicine. However, this information is far from new. It is as old as time itself. 6,000 years, in fact. How so, you may ask? Well, all the healthy principles are found right back at the creation of this world.
The book of Genesis gives us God's perfect plan for your health. I'm going to use the word perfect as a mnemonic to help you to remember these principles. P is for plant-based food and pure water. God initially gave the first humans every plant-yielding seed and every tree which had fruit-yielding seed. In other words, a wide array of fruits, nuts, and grains. After sin, when Adam and Eve left the garden, they were also given the herb of the field, which are the vegetables. All these wholesome and unprocessed fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables are what we call in modern times the whole food plant-based diet. The diet now famous for its health-giving and disease-preventing properties. Flowing through the garden was a river with the purest of water with no pollutants to taint it. It made the perfect hydrating beverage for the brand new human family. E is for exercise. God also gave Adam and Eve exercise in the form of gardening. They were to tend and keep the Garden of Eden. I don't imagine this to be a small task. It would have taken up a large portion of their day. Plenty of bending, twisting, cardio workouts, and muscle building episodes. All this in the form of an enjoyable and purposeful exercise in that garden home. R is for rest. At night, Adam and Eve would rest from their daily work with no technology or stresses to distract or prevent them from having a good night's sleep. There was also a Sabbath rest that they were given. The number of days for this earth to rotate around the sun gives us a year, and the cycles of the moon gives us the months. But there is nothing in nature that gives us a 7-day cycle. This comes straight from the creation week. God created in 6 days and rested and made the 7th day holy. This was a time for humans to rest, focus on their Maker, and remember that they were created beings who depended on their Creator for all their needs. It was a time of physical, emotional, and spiritual refreshment. The letter F is for fresh air. The air provided in Eden would have been free of all the industrial pollutants that taint the air in modern times. I don't think there would have been any ventilation issues in the garden home either. E is for exposure to sunlight. Adam and Eve's labours were the outdoor kind, giving them a healthy dose of sunlight. However, before the flood, there was a water canopy called a firmament that encircled the globe, which may have stopped harmful radiation from coming through. Although we don't have that canopy these days, some sunlight is still essential for good health today. C is for companionship. This is also another really important detail that God didn't forget. He gave Adam and Eve to each other and told them to be fruitful and multiply, thus taking care of their social and emotional well-being and ensuring that there was no loneliness or isolation in the human race. T is for time with God. This final principle is so important. Adam and Eve would meet and spend time with God in the garden, not just on the Sabbath day, but there are other examples where they also communicated throughout the rest of the week. We were all created spiritual beings, so to stay in good spiritual and total health, it is important to have a relationship with our Maker. There you have it, the perfect health plan given by God 6,000 years ago to the human race. It has stood the test of time. A plant-based diet and pure water, exercise, rest, fresh air, exposure to sunlight, companionship, and time with God. Just perfect. But this story does not end here. For 6,000 years, this earth has been getting old, and it is groaning under the weight of human sin and destruction. As human beings, whilst we have increased in our knowledge, we are not improving as a race. We are genetically deteriorating, and disease and suffering are increasing. We live in a sin-sick world. We may be able to do the best that we can possibly do, aiming for those health principles from creation. But we will fail at times, and our environment is rarely as healthful as it once was. And we are not able to control all the health challenges that come our way. So there has to be an emergency plan. Indeed, God has provided this.
Now, you may have heard of the term holistic health. This probably conjures up a whole lot of thoughts and images in your mind, and I would say the vast majority were influenced by the New Age philosophies. However, I would like to share my thoughts in the context of this emergency plan through a Christian physician's eyes.
First, tell God your health concerns and give your life and health over to Him. There is no magic power in this act, but rather it's a step of faith, putting your life and health in God's hands so that He can provide for you. Then we can start at the bottom of my pyramid for holistic health. Educate yourself with the health principles, which is what you are doing now. Moving up the pyramid, it is time to assess or even reassess your lifestyle and adopt as many healthy lifestyle principles as you can. Many of these are not only helpful for preventing disease, but they are also great at treating and reversing many health complaints. If you are suffering from simple acute or chronic illnesses, then seek natural remedies and therapies. Herbs, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, counseling, and hydrotherapy, for example. And these are found in the middle of the pyramid. These can also aid your path to health. At the top of the pyramid, we also have medication and surgery available to us that can also be life-saving. Whether it is a terrible car accident, a ruptured appendix, a heart attack or stroke, there is still a need for these in the emergency plan. I can tell you from first-hand experience, when you have a precious child or a husband undergoing life-saving surgery with the best pharmaceuticals in the form of anesthetics, pain medication, and antibiotics, the amazing skillful hands of surgeons, the advanced equipment that is keeping the lungs going and the fluids circulating in the body, you know that this is also a gift from God. God Himself is guiding the talents and hands of these physicians and surgeons, whether they know it or not. So this emergency health plan is a gift to us. This is what I would suggest that holistic health looks like in an imperfect world. Always remember that your health choices can change your life. Blessings to you and your health.